There are about 6 sections in the book, and one of them is political, and one of those poems is very political and almost impossible to read and to absorb orally. There's a sequence of 5. I'm going to begin with the last one, which is the only one I can read completely. It's relatively short. For those of you who are following in the book, it's page 89, and the poem is called The Size of Earth, a short, simple poem to get us out of Iraq. And it's dedicated for Laura and George W. Bush in that order. I wrote this after going with Rona to Australia, and I should have foreseen this. It made common sense, but it never occurred to me that the stars in the sky, which I had always been used to seeing in the sky, I knew I was going to see some new stars. That was not surprising. What shouldn't have been surprising, but was that the old stars I did know were now upside down. So that's what launched this poem. Having just seen Orion upside down over Sydney Harbour, my head aligned with the point of his hanging dagger, my feet with its haft, I gather this stuff we stand on has 2 sides, and that from the absence of parallactic shift, our Earth, compared to the space in Orion's dagger, is a speck, almost nothing at all. 2. And that from either edge of this speck of planet dust, we can look beyond the apparencies of Northern and Southern Cross to the great stream of the Milky Way, either upside or down, and the cloudy, imaginative source you shall love over and beyond Homer, the Vedas, the Dashwe, Dante, the Shahnama, Marx, the Ring, even our epiphanies and our devotions leading to massacres and autos da fe. 3. Quote from the New York Times, literally billions of planets in our galaxy, not stars, planets. In light of so much unseen, what can we still be sure of? 4. When we consider ourselves strong, we have the power to create a hell we cannot think is God's. And when we see we are a speck, each of us a speck on a speck, then we can wake to the glory. 5. Consider our withdrawal from Vietnam, now a tourist destination, not the end of the world. This is a poem about Berkeley in the time of People's Park, and I narrate it in a series of different ways. That's really what the poem is about. My son asked me to join in speaking to a seminar of visitors, all of whom were over 60 or maybe over 70. And I was asked to talk about Berkeley in the times of troubles, and I surprised myself, as you will see. Poems, page 83, Making History, Unfolding World. Those are choices there. The question is why, to a seminar of senior citizens, mostly younger than myself, I narrated as comedy my thoughts on the first ever assault from the air on a U.S. city. Berkeley, attacked in 1969 by an Army helicopter dropping CS gas over Lower Sproul Plaza, which all of us protesting the occupation of People's Park by the National Guard had been told was the only place where a rally would be permitted. I did not attend, but had a good view from the Wheeler Hall steps as the helicopter came in low over the Student Union building and dropped its white cargo. I was well positioned to watch the white cloudlet float away as the breeze through the Golden Gate blew it sideways up the hill to where scholars in the library, patients in the UC hospital, and rich folks up on Grizzly Peak we're all incapacitated. The question is why I recall this as a tale of endearing inefficiency, completely ignoring the perspective of those trapped in the plaza. How lawmen and guardsmen pitched tear gas into the crowd. This is a quote from Rolling Stone. How lawmen and guardsmen pitched tear gas into the crowd and with the threat of their bayonets prevented demonstrators from getting out. As well as the earlier rally, when shots fired by sheriff's deputies killed bystander James Rector and wounded about 75 others in the street outside Cody's Books. While the next invocation of martial law under Operation Garden Flock left 4 students dead at Kent State, and completely ignoring the hopeful teenage girls hanging flowers on the guardsmen's bayonets along the nonviolent march, which Dorn of the Weathermen urged vainly to convert into a bloody confrontation, to the stretch of Dwight Way turfed over by John Reed, where we danced barefoot all afternoon while Lauren rised half-naked on a flatbed truck in front of the wide-eyed youngsters from the Central Valley, rigidly at ease with their guns inside People's Park. Perhaps I lapsed into comedy as the best way to compose the past, from unconscious conviction that history's deepest pattern is not the sickness, but the healing. A Pascalian wager, like Dante's and Milton's, that to live in hope we must let go of our torments. Or it could have been cowardice, my reluctance to accept how unlikely were the chances of any successful healing in this hatred-nursing nation mired in fear and death. Or it could have been denial from a repressed sense of guilt of having, by my enthusiastic opposition to nightsticks and tear gas, helped create the death scene where a young man was killed. Or it could have just been biology. My dispassion over the helicopter, which once had aroused in me an embarrassing urge to shoot it down, deriving less from wisdom than from loss of testosterone. Or perhaps it was from all of these, the recognition of past shortcomings on everyone's part, yielding in the end a little forgiveness and humility, the right relation to help time unfold.